You guys ready to talk about Black Panther?
Yep.
Yes.
Here we go. All right, Black Panther Wakanda Forever just came out. We all watched it. Let's get some immediate reactions out of everybody. Jonathan, what do you think immediate reaction?
I loved it. It was all around. It was one of the best. I don't go to the movies much anymore, so it's easy to say one of the best movies I've seen in a while. But yeah, it was a lot better than I expected. I didn't really have super high expectations, so yeah, it was a lot better than I expected.
What'd you think, Susan?
Same thing. I didn't have high expectations because it's always like hit or miss, right? With the part 2 movies. And I am not a crier during movies. I cried 3 times in this movie.
Yeah.
In 3 separate scenes. Like I'm handing my money over to Disney and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because they deserve it.
I want the Disney moms to review the second movie now. Now that you guys did the first one, you gotta review the second one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Squeaks, what do you think? What's your first reaction to this?
Oh man, I thought it was so amazing that I happened to just not get out of the bedroom to watch the movie yet. So
You haven't seen the movie at all yet?
I have not seen this movie yet.
No shit, Squeaks. Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah, I tell you, man, my like desire for these superhero movies are just not the same lately.
So that you're in luck because we're doing a spoiler-free review, so you could still participate.
I was gonna say, honestly, you can spoil it. You can do whatever you want right now.
No, because you should watch it, but I want you to come up with questions as we're talking, okay? You're going to be interrupting with questions. That's your job.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the film for what it accomplished. I think that overall, like if we take the emotions out of it, solid, well-made movie.
Absolutely.
Was it the best Marvel movie ever? No. But it definitely was in the upper echelons. You know what I'm saying? Like Guardians 2 is very good. It's not better than Guardians 1, that kind of thing. The way they handled Chadwick Boseman's passing, though, could not have been done better. I just simply couldn't. I wanted
Okay, question number 1 then.
Go for it.
Was the handle of his passing, was it too much in the movie? I mean, is it too long? Like, are we just dwelling on it the whole time?
The second time I watch it, it probably will be, but not the first time when I'm feeling the emotions of the situation.
Okay.
The theater, I want to ask you guys the same question. I was pretty dumbfounded by the fact that like the first 10 minutes of the movie, there was zero sound. Nobody going for M&Ms. It was dead quiet, almost like you're at a funeral service. A joyous one, sure, on screen, but everybody like gave it that kind of respect. It was, I've never been so eerily quiet in a theater before. Did you guys experience that at all?
Oh yeah, especially because there's a part in the movie where they're just showing like different clips of T'Challa in the original Black Panther, and it's maybe like 30 seconds long, if that.
Or less,
Yeah, and it was dead silence in that movie theater, and everyone was facing forward, like watching the screen. Everyone was engaged.
Yeah, I like how
that time
in the movie they made that. Obviously, they put it in to be as like a moment of silence. They just have the sound of the wind in the background, and like in the theater, you could feel that people are appreciating it as a moment of silence, and not like you're saying, not getting their snacks, not getting up or chit chatting. It's just.
And they also did like a second part to that, like towards the end.
Very end, yeah. Which is kind of like, okay, so we're to me it signified like soak this moment in, and now we're gonna move on to the new frontier. Which that spoiler, we'll have to discuss that spoiler because it'd be crazy not to, but we'll do that at the end. That mid-credit scene, we'll have to discuss that because it's just too crazy.
Yeah.
And Squeaks, or you're just gonna have to be spoiled on that, and it's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked the way they paced that out because we have his passing, and then it goes right into the Marvel credit, which all of the Marvel, like normally it's like, oh, hey, here's Hulk, here's Thor. It was all Chadwick Boseman. And then we go right into the funeral, and it was just like so somber, so beautifully done. And it did take a bit, but what I was wanting out of this movie, and we talked about it before the movie, is how I wanted there to be an explanation of what mourning looks like in the cinema in Marvel. Because I mean, look, we've lost Iron Man, we've lost so many people. We had to kind of show what real mourning looks like, and the way he died wasn't because like Hulk beat him or something like that. He died of a disease, just like he did in real life, and I think they handled that quite well. Anything else from the Chadwick side of things? Yes, Squeaks, go for it.
Question. So, is it a spoiler if I ask like what was the disease or how they go about it?
They actually didn't say what the disease was, but he did die of a disease. Shuri tried to cure it, but she couldn't do it in time.
Okay, was that handled well, or did it feel cheap? Like it was like, oh, I just couldn't do it. Like
no, it handled very well because she was like trying to manufacture the heart-shaped herb because, of course, Killmonger burnt it all, and she's trying to manufacture one because that would have solved everything. Of course, it's Black Panther. She couldn't get it done in time, and so he passed.
Got it. Okay.
Which I think was done because, and that's in the first like 2 minutes. That's not a spoiler, guys. But I think that was done because, first off, he did die of cancer, so it does make sense that it's similar to that. But also, this mysterious disease, they don't say what it is. I think that could lead to a conflict later on if, like, say, Dr. Doom gave him that disease. Yeah, so that could be a thing. Anything else from Chadwick Boseman's passing that you guys want to talk about before we move on to the rest of the movie?
Yeah, I think it was beautifully done. Even there's other people. Can I say this? There's other people that passed away in the movie.
Yeah, we can say that much. Yeah, we don't say who, but
just not who.
Yeah. That you would not expect, and you could see the grief within the family, right?
Yeah.
Like in your personal life, when you go through a death, there's different stages to grief, and they portrayed that in the movie as well. And I think it was done so beautifully.
When the second passing, though, what happened, I had noticed that in Shuri, instead of like lost in technology, she went to rage, which it reminds me, like we've actually, a lot of us have had 2 passings, one right after the other one, basically, and the second one's numbing. It's like I'm already dead inside right now, so yeah. I mean, it's whatever right now. Shuri kind of was in that state when this happened, and she just was like, flip the switch, gonna burn the world down. I don't care.
So
I think it worked.
She literally says that I want to burn the world down.
Yeah, it was so good. Anything else on Chadwick Boseman then? No, I
think that's it.
Namor is our villain in this one, and they went with a Mesoamerican themed Namor. Now, if you guys want to know more about Namor, we just released From the Pages. It's our Patreon and BitKit exclusive podcast where we go a deep dive on who Namor is and his history and all that stuff like that. It was crazy different from the movie, so check that out. What do you guys think about this interpretation of Namor being from the Mesoamerica area?
I think they did a really good job with it. I liked the backstory that how much they showed of it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing in early development of the movie that they had him in this big headdress and everything, which was like,
I liked it, but it's momentarily.
It looked cool maybe for a picture, but I think in playing and acting it out in the movie, it would have been distracting. It would have been a little bit too much. So I think they did a good job kind of scaling down his appearance, but still making him menacing, mostly just in his persona and the way he talks.
Just like Killmonger, menacing but sympathetic. Like I'm rooting for him a lot of times, but then you're like, oh, that's right, you're gonna go one step way too damn far. You know, I go almost there for you. I was gonna burn it down.
Does he hold up pretty well when you're like comparing it to the first movie with Daddy Killmonger?
He is a different stroke of Killmonger, exactly.
Really, him versus Killmonger would have been an awesome war if he came around back when Killmonger was in charge. That would have been awesome.
They had a lot of things in common, and so did
they would have joined forces, though.
Yeah. I think that's why, because there's a point in the movie where Namor and Shuri, they were in his world, right? So they're underwater, and he was trying to like create a bond with her so that he could have an ally, right? But he was doing it the wrong way because he was there. He was kind of like spying on Shuri before he like introduced himself to Wakanda.
Yeah.
And he like brought that up in conversation saying like, I heard you that you want to burn the world down. Like, let's do it together kind of thing. And I like the enthusiasm, but just we're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really liked about his character and like his whole world, I guess, right, was that Black Panther is known for uplifting a like country and a ethnicity,
people.
Like an underserved, culture, exactly. And that's beautiful, right? Because you're highlighting people of color that aren't typically highlighted in like Hollywood movies. Mm-hmm. So not only did Marvel bring in another minority, another culture that is completely new, because it's not just like when you think like Mesoamerican, it's not like traditional Mexico. It's more like Mayan. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a different style. It's a different
and even
dialect.
Mesoamerica, it's kind of a catch-all for that region. When within that region, they had very different cultures too, like Aztec, Incan. They were all very different amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And they kind of included a little bits of different ones in there too. Like even the gods that he has in the background, some gods are from one culture, some gods are from another culture. And I forget which one he is, but the god they call him is actually one of the gods from the day. And just to throw this out there, what I've heard is that Marvel is saying that he is one of the gods because he's from the 1300s in the MCU. And so he is actually one of their gods. It's just who they interpreted as one of their gods.
Yeah, it was the god of abundance, I think, that led them to their flower.
Right, but that's not who he is. He is the snake god, the flying snake, the feathered snake god. Is him.
Yeah. So I think that was beautifully done. I love how Marvel is now, being aware, and they're bringing in minorities and other like cultures. I'm trying to say into.
They're helping represent the underrepresented.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say.
I will say, just as a just to kind of follow up on that too, it's not like it's done heavy-handedly either. It's just that like there's so many reasons to do this. First one that kind of comes to mind for comic book fans is the fact that Aquaman and Namor are the same damn character. Like if you're being honest about it, Atlantis normally looks just like Atlantis. They're both Atlantis. So when you don't make it Atlantis and you call the place Talanka, which in one of their religions is like their version of heaven. So is the name of the city that they're at. And so when you actually like make it something else, you're like, okay, then we could do totally different look and it's fine. It does it, so there's that too. Plus, of course, then you could have morality behind it and you give age behind it. Because the thing that you were talking about, how he knew Shuri and he kind of knew this vibranium thing. I got the vibe that like, I've talked to Black Panthers in the past. I've been around long enough. I've talked to plenty of you guys. We have an agreement to not talk about vibranium with the outside world, and you guys done messed this up. It's like you guys forgot, because remember, T'Challa's dad, what's his name? I usually know it. T'Challa's dad passed away suddenly, so he didn't have the chance to tell him about like the Song of Ice and Fire kind of thing. It was just like, boom, you're the king now. And so there was probably a conversation they're supposed to have like, by the way, don't mention vibranium because otherwise the ocean's going to attack you.
Yeah. And okay. And the thing was like, with these ocean creatures, I don't know what they're like technically called. I don't remember.
We'll just go with Atlanteans is what they are in the comics.
Atlanteans, right? They aren't their powers are like superhuman strength. There are multiple scenes where they're getting like stabbed and like sliced and then just like stand up and fight again. And that's where like Wakanda has to take a step back, and it's like, how are we supposed to defeat the undefeatable? You know what I mean?
Right. So the key there is that they basically all have Black Panther's abilities because they get it the same way he does. Or she does in this case.
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that.
Oh, yeah. Their ancestors drank that, and then all their kids after that have that strength, right?
So, but obviously Wakanda has more technology. Well, they're not lacking for technology in Atlantis, but definitely not the same. But they all have Black Panther's abilities, essentially, like the baseline ones.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Any questions, Squeaks?
I was gonna say, so these Atlanteans are basically using vibranium. Because you were saying that's the secret,
their
right?
version of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have vibranium. Yeah.
Got it.
And then so then let's talk about Shuri as the new Black Panther. How much do we like her, or do we want something different? What do you guys think? By the way, if you guys don't know, it's on all the movie posters. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
I want to say real quick because it is kind of a reveal in the movie, but it's on the poster, so you guys should know.
Yeah, we got to be careful about the reveal.
You know what? My question too, when you're answering, John, does it feel like cheaper version of Black Panther? I want to know. Harsh, but I want to know.
So I think they did a good job. I'm gonna try not to give out any spoilers, especially there's a little turn at the end, I think, that we should probably not reveal. But I think they did a good job at building up her character to prepare us for her to be Black Panther. It was kind of this battle she's going through, and she's proving her strength, that she's not a little kid anymore, that she's, powerful and learning and wise. And, she proves herself, I think, in the process, that now she's ready to take up the mantle. But I don't know. I think it was
to add to that. Not only do they like build her character up as like physically right, but like spiritually too. Like one of the internal battles she has is that she doesn't really believe in like the ancestral planes. Like she thinks that like once you're dead, you're gone kind of thing. And her mom tries to have this conversation with her.
Angela
it's like,
Bassett.
no, like she's freaking amazing.
She killed it. Oh my God.
Yes. Tries to have this conversation with her about like how she could feel T'Challa and
careful not to spoil.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but no, but she says like Shuri tells her like that was your mind just trying to find a way to comfort you. That T'Challa didn't actually touch your shoulder or anything like that.
Yeah. But through the movie, there are certain things that happen that like make her realize, like, no, this is really true. This is my destiny.
Yeah, I think she finds a way to kind of blend them. Do you get that vibe?
Yeah. Especially that end scene.
Yeah. And I think blending is also important for Shuri too, because she is definitely not T'Challa. And honestly, she's not as good as T'Challa, if I'm being honest with you guys.
No.
Nobody will, because T'Challa is the perfect Black Panther and he was amazing in every way. Now, she is a good mix of T'Challa and Killmonger, which we see in her costume. Her costume is silver and gold. She is both characters in one. She has that noble side. She has that restraint of stop at the last moment that T'Challa had, but she's gonna get to that last fucking moment, like Killmonger is. And
she's gonna get you to beg for forgiveness before she gives you forgiveness or gives you mercy.
Her final action scene, I did not know what she was gonna do. Like normally, if it was T'Challa in that fight, you're like, okay, he's gonna I don't know, this is gonna work out well. Peace is gonna win out. I did not know if that was gonna happen with her, and if it was Killmonger, you know exactly how it would work out too, because off with his head. But we did not know in this one, and that was kind of nice. Now again, I don't think she's as good as T'Challa. I don't think that's gonna be a problem for long. But yeah,
and I think though she's not as good as him, she did a good job at leaning on her tech to help compensate for her lack of fighting ability and stuff like that. I thought they did a good job at making sure to represent that she's not as good of a fighter as he is, and good morally and politically, but she can lean on her, technology, like Iron Man style.
Anything else you want to talk about? Music, sound, or the sets, anything like that you guys want to make sure to mention before we kind of close things out here?
I can't imagine how hard filming this movie was, because they did a lot of underwater scenes.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I'm watching it, like, you see the people that are underwater. You could tell the CGI versus the non-CGI, but the scenes where people are underwater,
just underwater though.
Yeah. And like, I just think like they got like 10 seconds right before they need to like turn and get to get an air mask or pop their head up or something like that. Like, filming real underwater scenes must be hard, and there's a lot of kids involved and stuff too. It's like,
well,
interesting.
When they're filming these like underwater scenes, and Eddie, once you watch the movie, you'll see it. There is no dialogue. There is one moment where King Nomor, it's not a king, whatever.
Yeah, he is king.
He's a god.
Oh, he's sitting on his throne, and they're about to. Can I say this? Go to war.
Yeah. I mean, it's
rallying troops.
Namor kind of goes to war a lot. It's his big thing. It's just about what he's
sitting on his throne, and like the CGI in that film was caked on. Like, you could see it because of the fact that he's talking underwater. You know that can't happen.
That part was a little much. You're right.
Yeah, they did their best to make it look very real. And it almost looked like an overlay though. Like, they did CGI on top of him, off like on a regular set,
and they kind of hit it with like this echoey effect that they kept putting in, like it's echoing throughout to all his subjects deep. But I was like, I got you. What you're doing? You're trying to like, don't look.
So would you compare, or would you think the Aquaman?
That's what we have to talk about.
Better?
Okay, so here's the thing. Namor's was insanely more realistic than Aquaman's. Aquaman's was very clear. You could see the action and everything like that. But like when Namor is showing Shuri around, it's like, that's believable. Like, these people look like people who live underwater. Like, this is believable. When Atlantis doesn't feel like that. Atlantis feels like it's kind of like, okay, this is almost a fantastical world. When the other one is like, no, these are survivors that are surviving this place. I think, I get in that vibe.
And I feel like they did a lot of those scenes with just practical effects. I think they've used very little CGI, except for that one scene where he is giving a speech, because he has to speak clearly, and you can't quite do that underwater. Even mouthing the words is going to be harder. But I think aside from that, it was almost all either practical effects or such good CGI. I didn't notice it.
And then just let's kind of wrap things up here. I think some of the overall themes of because there's some political themes and stuff like that, I think they handled that pretty well. I know that they definitely had a tough bill to fill with T'Challa's passing. I think they handled that well, and I think overall it went pretty good. Anything else last comments you guys want to do before we talk about the mid-credit scene and do a spoiler alert?
I do have one more thing. Is there was a scene, I obviously don't want to do any spoilers, but a scene where you would assume you would see T'Challa, and you didn't, in the way that they had the story written.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad they went that route and they didn't try to CGI him in.
I was so worried they were going to Princess Leia this, but they didn't. Thank God.
Yeah. So I was really glad to see it, and they did a good job at making it make sense through the writing.
You didn't deserve to see him. I loved it.
Yeah. So it was a really good choice on their end.
Let's go ahead. We're going to do spoiler alerts for the mid-credit scene, guys. So just be aware of that. After this, we're going to do recommendations and close the show. So for those of you guys, just give you a heads up on that. Mid-credit scene, Squeaks, this is a warning to you too. We find out that T'Challa has a son, and his name is T'Challa. So what are predictions for this?
I thought we already knew that the girlfriend was having a baby.
We didn't know she was having a baby. Their relationship was light. We found out that not only did they have a baby, but the baby's been around for like 6 years. How old do you think he is?
They said 6 years.
6 years.
She said 6 years ago. Yeah,
because that was the last time she was in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really 6 years since the fight? Oh, because there's Thanos and stuff. That's right. I'm thinking it's right after the movie, but no, we have all the Infinity War, and the 5 year set.
I must have saw something then. Yeah, I must have saw something then because I could have sworn I saw something there. She was like giving a birth or something.
Yeah.
What?
No. I didn't. Yeah, this was just that. Yeah. Like Shuri goes to kind of pay the last respect. She's doing it in Haiti. She's burning the funeral robes. Comes up, boom. This is T'Challa Jr. And he's just like a really nice kid and blah 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 blah. Basically, this is why we didn't recast T'Challa because we're gonna do another one.
But it was already such a well-made scene because it was Shuri mourning.
It was a really
just real somber, slow, and then
then they cut to credits, which is interesting. They cut to credits, then came back to the scene and did that part. Yeah.
So they did a really good job at kind of introducing him. Not throwing it in your face like, hey, we got a replacement for this guy or something like anything inappropriate, but a good job of making you like kind of excited for, okay, so his legacy might live on.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Which it's probably the God of War me right now. I'm excited to see this like son trying to fill in his father's footsteps thing because God of War is 100% that. And so I'm looking forward to seeing a version of T'Challa who's trying to fit in which we saw with the first T'Challa too, but Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa left an impact beyond the movie. And to see this kid who's like, okay, who are you going to cast for this? Because obviously we're going to judge everything about them. Good luck.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with this, of course, is that the queen knows about the grandson, but Shuri didn't. I think T'Challa would have told his sister. I have no doubt in my mind.
Okay, this is my theory.
Okay.
So the queen knew knows where.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Knows where oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name.
The girlfriend.
Yeah. Lupita Nyong'o is her name. Her real name. I don't know about in the show.
I don't remember. Okay, so she knows where Lupita is, right? And so she goes to Haiti and visits her, and she is in a like school, like some type of children's
Haitian school. Yeah.
And so at that final scene, when they're like, does my mom know him? And the girlfriend kind of like does like this look, and she's like, yeah, she knows him. I don't think she knew him.
Careful with spoilers on this. This is extra level spoilers. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm tuned in though. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, listeners.
I think she gotta keep careful on that. Saw him like at the school, like in passing. It's like, yeah, she knew him in passing.
You're right. I think that's when she was actually introduced to him. So I think she was introduced to him later in the film, not knowing about him since the birth of him, which still feels like, because the whole point, the idea is that T'Challa hid the child so he didn't have to grow up with the pressures of being the next king, which is fair. Maybe he felt those pressures himself, but on the same note, it's like, yeah, but you're not going to tell your sister who you told literally everything to, who was your biggest confidant. Seems hard, but I mean, it's what are you going to do? T'Challa, you had to find a way. So,
by the way, the girlfriend's name is Nakia in the movie.
That's what it is.
She was awesome in the movie too. They had her do a really good role in this movie. It was all hands on deck. They even had, I didn't care for what's her name, the Midnight Sisters or whatever it is, which actually is a comic book accurate. That was uniform that she was wearing. I just think it looks silly in the comic books. That I will like visually, I will say that some of the uniforms were getting too colorful in a almost Power Rangers level. I didn't care for that.
Yes. Yeah. That's actually Susie said that while we were watching the movie that one looks like a Power Ranger.
The blue one, right? Yeah.
It was
Blue Ranger
too
much.
Came to fight.
Yeah. I was like, Megazord. No, we're good.
I was gonna say dinosaurs start popping out and shit. You're like, what the hell?
I would like for them to kind of scale that back a little bit. I know the colors are accurate for the comic book. It's a dead on actual comic book accurate costume, but all right, we're good. You can scale back a bit.
Yeah. And I think before they brought that character out, I was expecting for the person that's going to wear that suit to say like, "Hey, can we change this color though?" And then it'd be black and gold,
which would be good because then you get like the hints, like, "Hey, it was comic book accurate. Now let's make it actually realistic." Kind of the X-Men joke,
That'd
be cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up, guys. I really like the film. I suggest to everybody else. I think we're both on board with that as well. Squeaks, you got to watch it. Let us know what you think.
We'll do.
It's not perfect as a movie, but I think it did a really good job with what it had to do because it had a lot to do. Recommendations for the week, guys. What recommendations do you guys bring to the table? Squeaks, let's start with you, man.
Oh shit, man. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go video games and play God of War.
Absolutely.
It's the first game in the longest time where I put priority over my family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm staying up. I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning to play this game. Just make before the kids wake up. Oh my gosh, it's the only thing I want to do right now.
From the Pages was 2 days late because of it.
Yeah. I was playing before this recording, and I feel wide awake to play after this.
I'm doing it right after this too, man. Yes. I cannot wait. Oh, so good. I'm on board with that 100%. Guys, please go play that. Or barring that, watch my stream when I stream it because it is that good. All right, what do you guys think?
I gotta say, watch more Star Trek. I've been watching both Next Generation and Deep Space Nine because I know those are the most well-known and the ones that probably I know the least of. So I've been watching a ton of Star Trek lately.
Getting ready for that fresh. Oh man, Trek Freaks is gonna be hopping with the remake. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
And what's hard is for a few years I would watch Star Trek at night because a certain channel would play it from 8 to midnight or something like that. So a lot of episodes I've seen, but they're just not fresh. I don't remember, or I fall asleep watching them. I only see half of it or something like that. So aside from Voyager, I've seen them all at least 10 times. But yeah, so I'm trying to get caught up and refreshified on all the other series.
Good. Susan, any recommendations for the people at home?
I've really been into Sesame Street, thanks to Marco.
Hey, there we go. Out of left field. Look, I know way too much about Bluey because of Marco, so I can't, whatever.
That's a good show. Yeah. There's so many TikToks about parents watching Bluey.
It's crazy.
You know what? Bluey is solid. It really is. It teaches a lot about social emotional learning. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Squeaks knows. That's a laughter from a dad who knows.
It is. I saw a TikTok of a dad saying like, "Hey, don't watch this, watch this," kind of thing, and one of them was Bluey, and I was like, "All right." And then now Kari started watching Bluey, and
Marco loves Bluey.
Yeah.
We have Bluey outfits. We have Bluey dolls. Like,
oh wow, okay.
It's so great because if he's acting up, you put on the theme song, and all of a sudden it's like trance. And it's like
Hypnotoad.
It's a Hypnotoad.
That's funny.
Unfortunately, I don't have any true recommendations. After the final episode of House of Dragons, I literally don't watch TV. I'm like,
seriously
on hold. Just that buffer screen.
I know. I was like, I miss it so much. It was so good.
That hit. Susie saying that hit me so hard because it just took me back of when I did finish the last episode of House of Dragons and I was so depressed.
2 years wait now for the next season. Like, oh my god.
Is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's depressing.
It takes a lot to make this, I guess.
The dragons ain't cheap.
Well, there's 50 seasons of Sesame Street, so maybe I'll stay entertained.
The new Santa Claus movie, I think it just came out or it's coming out really soon. I am kind of excited to see that, in regards to Christmas movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we bring up something real quick? Ash Ketchum finally being the best Pokemon trainer ever.
He finally got it. I know you guys don't care about this. Ash Ketchum, after 25 years, is now the Pokemon champion.
But it only took him like what? 1 or 2 in Pokemon years.
Well,
but in Pokemon years, guy was a kid still.
Yeah. But I will say, Pokemon themselves, the Twitter account said, 25 years later, he got it. And it's 25 years our time. We've been watching, literally, I was rush home from school and watch it on the TV in our kitchen. And yeah, he's finally now Pokemon Master Champion and everything like that. It's like, dude, you know how many times I've done this?
You know what's the craziest thing? I'm like sitting there and I see this announcement and I just feel like a sign of relief in life. I'm like, everything's good. Like, it's fine now.
Everything in the world is good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I don't have to try anymore. So
Ash Ketchum did it. And with Pikachu on his team, Pikachu beating Charizard was the final hit, by the way, which is like, perfect, classic OG guys. That's perfect.
Damn.
I loved it.
Oh man.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for part 1 of Geek Freaks this week. There's gonna be another part where we're gonna be talking about God of War. Squeaks will be on that too. We're just gonna go crazy about it. Kyle as well. So we'll see you guys then. Thank you very much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.